What's good, y'all? It's Icon back, and we going over NXT Stand and or Deliver. We back doing a little wrestling. Haven't done wrestling in a long time, in a long while, but it's WrestleMania weekend, it's NXT, it's TakeOver, it's Stand and Deliver, so I figure under the special circumstances, we're going to do a little wrestling and talk about a little NXT. So, let's kick things off right out the gate, because we got like I said, it's WrestleMania weekend, and we got a jam-packed weekend with a lot of stuff going on. And let's talk about the opening match for NXT Stand and Deliver live from Dallas, Texas. So the first match, surprisingly, I was shocked. It was the women's tag match with Toxic Attraction versus Io Shirai and I forgot the big girl name already. But she used to be her. Oh man, it's Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez. It's been a while. So, and I have to say this out the gate. The whole thing with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, they were a tag team before. And I do remember that, and I like them being a tag team. And it is cool because of how their relationship ended. It's cool to see the two of them come back together and reform their tag team, especially considering they were the very first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, and they lost those belts in like the same day that they got them. So that, so it was nice to see them back together. With that being said, I honestly wish that the title match could have gone to Casey Catanzaro and Carter. Out of everybody on NXT, they're the only legitimate tag team that actually well, aside from Toxic Attraction, they're the other legitimate tag team that exists on that brand. And the two of them, like, they bust their ass, like they come up with tag team moves, they wear like the matching clothes, like they're actual a legitimate tag team. But there's also a storyline there with Gonzalez and Dakota Kai as well. But this is, as I said, but in the end, maybe Casey, they'll get their shot later on. But we'll see what happens as we move forward. So in this match, and again, this was the pre-show match. I'm like, this is the women's tag title, and this is the pre-show match. I thought the show started early because they said 1 o'clock, and this thing started at 12:45. But in the end, due to an assistance from Wendy Chu, who came in and distracted one of the members of Toxic Attraction, Raquel Gonzalez ended up getting the tag in. She did the one-arm choke slam, got the girl down to the ground, pinned her, and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And like I said, I'm okay with that because they never had a proper title run to begin with. And I thought both of them would be called up to the main roster. But now that they're actually the women's tag team champions, once they lose the belts, maybe that will be their last hurrah and they'll get called up to the main roster. So kudos to the two of them for winning the belts. And I like the two. I always like Dakota Kai once she turned heel. So, I mean, Raquel Gonzalez's outfit for WrestleMania weekend could have been a lot better. But we'll see where it goes. And I'm looking forward to seeing who they challenge and who their opponents will be going forward. So to open the show for NXT Stand and Deliver was the North American ladder match, Fatal 5-Way ladder match. Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams, Santos Escobar with his whole crew, Grayson Waller, Soa Sikoa, and Cameron Grimes. And this was pretty good because if you were a person who had like a partner, a manager, a heavy or whatever, they were all over this place. Trick Williams was all over the place. Grayson Waller's boy was all over the place. Carmen Electra was Carmen Gonzalez, whatever her name is, she was all over the place. Like they were cheating upon cheating in this entire match. But everybody did have a good showing. And I do like the fact that they are having NXT Stand and Deliver in the same arena that they're holding WrestleMania. So as a fan, if you buy tickets, you ain't got to go that far. But at the end of the match, Grayson Waller did this thing where he tried to drop an elbow on Carmelo Hayes off top of a huge ladder down on the Carmelo Hayes on a ladder, and Carmelo Hayes moved out of the way at the last second. And the way I assume you're supposed to take that bump is you're supposed to come off the top of the ladder, and when you land, you're supposed to turn, and then like your back and shoulder is supposed to hit the ladder, so it'll somewhat make it a flat surface for you to land on. This guy came off the ladder, and then when Carmelo Hayes moved, his entire arm part right here hit the ladder, and I swear to God, I legitimately think he broke his arm. And if Grayson Waller broke his arm, the fans aren't going to have any sympathy for him because he's the most hated person in NXT right now and in all of wrestling. So we'll see. But we'll see what happens. And then after that, off a top rope cave-in, by Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes climbed the top rope, and as he made the promise to his daddy and everybody else all over the world, Cameron Grimes now has the gold, and he's taken the North American Championship all the way from North America to the moon. And like I said, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Cameron Grimes, but I'm also happy to see one-on-one matches now between Cameron Grimes and Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams, because as we know, they are still batted. The next matchup was the farewell match, if you will, for Tommaso Ciampa versus Tony D'Angelo. And I get it. I understand that it's tradition in the business to where when you leave a territory and you move up to a different situation, you're supposed to put the next guy over when it's your final match. There are rare situations where a guy is so valuable and so beloved and so prosperous from the fans and and the company and the audience, where they actually let that person win their final match, as like a proper send-off to them. This is one of those situations where that should have happened. And it's not that I have a problem with Tommaso Ciampa losing, because Tommaso Ciampa lost to Tony D'Angelo. It's not that I have a problem with Tommaso Ciampa losing to Tony D'Angelo. The problem that I have with that is it's Tony D'Angelo. And, to be honest with you, this spot should have gone to Grayson Waller, because Grayson Waller has been such a hated person. He's been such an asshole. He's been such a D-bag. Like, people already legitimately hate him. It would have made perfect sense for Grayson Waller to be the person in this position to be Tommaso Ciampa, because at least you can see Grayson Waller becoming like a big heel and the next big bad guy and the next big villain, the next big star for NXT. It didn't make sense. Like nobody cares about Tony D'Angelo, and this win isn't going to turn Tony D'Angelo into a major star. So it was a lost opportunity. It was a huge lost opportunity. If it was Tony D'Angelo, Tommaso Ciampa should have won. But he didn't win. Tony D'Angelo, got the victory. And I promise you, a month from now, at the next NXT Stand and Deliver, Tony D'Angelo will not be fighting for a title. He would not be winning any championships. He's going to be on the pre-show, if that. And Grayson Waller is still going to be out there being the person who he is. And it's almost like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown. It's like you wasted it for no reason. Like I said, but we'll see. We'll see. But, hats off to Tommaso Ciampa. I hope to see him, on Raw or SmackDown doing big things. And I'm looking forward to that, going forward for Tommaso Ciampa. But kudos to him. We even got some Johnny wrestling chants, and, maybe he'll come back and save the day as well. The match that followed that was the NXT Tag Team Championship match. MSK, who came out dressed like the Rockers, Diamond Mine with Malcolm Bivens, who came dressed as Teddy Long, and Imperium, who, have new theme music outside of the Imperium Walter theme music. And this was a good tag team match with all participants involved. It's just unfortunate that despite the fact that they're the faces, that MSK still got booed throughout the entire match. And towards the end, they pulled something off where they did a Hurricanrana into a sit-out powerbomb combination, which actually did get the crowd excited when they pulled that off. And then once they pulled that off, MSK got the 1-2-3 victory, and MSK are once again two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. And the crowd did react for that. Like, when they got the pin, the crowd did cheer for them, but you can tell not everybody was happy. For some reason, I don't know what it is about them, but people just don't like them. Like, people are starting to boo them. And they're doing this whole thing where the people that attack Diamond Mine, like in the locker room or whatever, like they're supposed to reveal themselves or whatever. And maybe they are MSK. There are rumors that MSK did that on purpose just to secure their spot into that tag team match, to try to get them, try to get themselves over, in that regard. So I don't know. I mean, if they end up turning heel, that'll be fine, because then they can be obnoxious, pompous, like jerk heels, not like nasty heels, but like they're such douchebags. It's like that's why people hate them. But then it's like there are no face tag teams now, because who are the face tag teams on NXT? Because every tag team they got is pretty much a heel. But I said, but we'll see what happens. Kudos to MSK for winning the tag team championships. We'll see what Diamond Mine, does going forward as we move on to the next match. The next match was actually one of the matches I was looking forward to, was the NXT Women's Championship match. Mandy Rose versus Io Shirai versus Kaylee Ray versus Cora Jade. And I honestly have to say, Cora Jade should not have been in this match. It's not that she's not a good wrestler. It's not that she's not a good performer. The girl looks like she's 12 years old, and she has no muscle definition whatsoever. It's like, it looks like someone's kid sister snuck into the arena. And when you look at her compared to the other girls, and it's not about her being thin, because Kaylee Ray is thin, but Kaylee Ray at least has some muscle definition. She has a strength look to her, and Kaylee Ray looks like she could actually kick your ass. Like, Cora Jade does not look like she can beat anybody up, and it just looks weird when she's in the ring against girls who are legitimately physically stronger than her. When she gets off half of the offense that she does, it's just I don't know. I feel like the stage was too big for her too soon. But because she's a fan favorite, they wanted to plug her in there. But this was a good match overall. You know, the trend so far for the NXT show was that all the champions were basically losing their championships in multiple person matches. But in this case, it didn't turn out to be that case because due to a vicious knee to the face from Io Shirai, Mandy Rose got the pin. And Mandy Rose is the first champion in NXT so far to retain her NXT Women's Championship. And I'm glad for that. Like, I think that was the right decision to make. Like, I don't think she should have lost her, her title in a fatal 4-way. I think she should continue to do single matches. She should beat Cora Jade right out the gate and get her out of the way. And then when she finally does lose the belt, it should either be to Kaylee Ray or to Io Shirai, unless they come up with a new challenger for her. But like I said, it was a good match. The match wasn't that long. Like, it didn't take 50 years, but it was definitely a good match. Like I said, everybody involved looked good. That's what you would expect from performers of these caliber. And overall, like I said, Cora Jade did do a good job overall. It's just that her size her size and lack of muscle just kept like throwing me off. But like I said, good women's match. The women always shine. The women always do what they got to do when it comes to NXT. And we're moving forward to the next match and final match, which is most likely the main event. Okay, so I did forget the Gunther match. And I'm not surprised I forgot the Gunther match because, I mean, it's nice to see Gunther versus LA Knight. That's actually a good matchup, and that was a match that I wanted to see. The problem with this match is that the outcome was very predictable, and nobody in their right mind thought that LA Knight on this night was going to beat Gunther in a match. And not only did he not defeat Gunther in this match to the surprise of no one, he beat him fairly quickly. So that it's sad. Like, honestly, at this point, LA Knight that seems to get called up to the main roster because they're basically just using him as a veteran enhancement talent, to enhance like the talents of other people. And it's sad because the man has skill. And you knew he wasn't going to win, not so much because of the place on the card, but not so much because he's fighting Gunther, but also taking into consideration, if you saw the entrances, like, first of all, Imperium got new music. Like, I thought it was just like the tag team guys. The whole Imperium got brand new theme music, so that's kind of disappointing. And then LA Knight didn't even have like a special WrestleMania weekend NXT like entrance. He just regularly came out like he always did. Put up a good fight, got his brains beat in by Walter, and he got pinned quickly. 1, 2, 3. Nothing I can say about that. I just pray that after WrestleMania is over, the SmackDown and Raw after WrestleMania, since it's supposed to be so spectacular, I pray that LA Knight shows up on one of those shows because he desperately needs to get off of NXT. Okay, this one was good. The NXT Championship match between Dolph Ziggler and Braun Breaker, good old Rex Steiner, Braun Steiner, whatever you want to call him. And they got me. They got everybody in the arena. First of all, Dolph Ziggler got his ass beat. Like, the sheer raw power of Braun Breaker, like, he beat Ziggler's ass. And Ziggler does a good job of making it look like he got his ass beat because of how he takes these bumps and how he sells these bumps. But Jesus Christ, like, the man took 3 spears and like, I swear he got whiplash like on 2 of them. He got press slammed. Robert Roode got involved. Robert Roode got kicked out, the arena. Then he came back and cheated again. But when Roode got kicked out the first time, Ziggler had taken one of the pads off of the middle turnbuckle. And when he took the pad off of the middle turnbuckle, we never came back to that, so everybody presumably forgot about it. So way later on in the match, there was a moment where Braun was down for the count and Ziggler was going for the sweet chin music for the super kick. And then when Ziggler went for the super kick, Braun was just standing there looking at him, and then Ziggler got thrown off. He was like, oh shit, like, this kid got up. But then, they started wrestling, and then, Braun hit him with the 3rd spear, and then he got him up for the military press slam, but then Ziggler raked the eyes, threw him into the metal turnbuckle, and then when Braun hit his face on the metal turnbuckle, then he got hit with the super kick, and then Dolph Ziggler pinned him 1, 2, 3. And I was shocked. I was legitimately shocked, which also means, I was talking about, we know Tommaso Ciampa is already called up. He's getting the call up. I was talking about LA Knight possibly getting the call up, after WrestleMania is over. And after this, like, after Ziggler just beat Braun Breaker right here the day after he inducted his uncle and his daddy into the Hall of Fame, you would have to think now Braun Breaker's going to the main roster. And I'm fine with that based on what I saw here because the kid looked, this is the best I've ever seen him look. This is the best I've ever seen him look. So I am looking forward to him debuting on Raw or SmackDown. I'm looking forward to all these NXT guys debuting on Raw and SmackDown. I'm actually looking more forward to the Monday and Friday after WrestleMania than I am, than I am anything else. So we'll see. We will see what happens. So good showing by NXT and good showing by Braun Breaker, and Dolph Ziggler is still your NXT Heavyweight Champion. So that was it, guys. That was my review for NXT Stand and Deliver. Good show. I mean, I have to give the show, I give the show an 8. You know, like, I definitely give the show an 8. There were a couple of matches that, I don't know, like I said, the LA Knight thing was disappointing. The Tommaso Ciampa thing was disappointing, but like all the women's stuff was good. You know, like the ladder match was good. It was a good show. The show was a solid 8. It actually kind of reminded me of the old NXT when we actually took this stuff seriously and we weren't just relying on like BS storylines, because we ain't even talking about that Dexter Lumen shit. But like I said, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Always on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. We will be reviewing Wrestlemania, the most stupendous 2 nights of them all. We'll be reviewing both of them on the channel until Wrestlemania weekend concludes. You know, in the meantime, if you're into the superhero stuff, definitely check out my superhero videos, because I got Naomi, I got Superman and Lois, I got The Flash, I got Young Justice, and we're doing Moon Knight for you Marvel fans. So that's it, guys. This is over NXT TakeOver Stand and or Deliver Dallas, Texas. Signing off. Until next time, about this.